I welcome everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Warriors, we are here to continue chronicling our 2026 commitment. If y'all don't already know, I am committed to retaining my seed for the year of 2026. And I'm sharing my experience with the world because I had a lot of questions. And if you don't know me, my name is Nakapan Pungpan. I am on the quest to become the first Triple Crown world champion as a champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, and Kudo in the over 45 division. And I'm documenting my experience and the things that I've learned to share that with the world, and also so we can chase greatness together. So this is the second week now, checking in, right? And this is day 15 of my current streak. Now, one thing I want to say about streaks, I don't like the idea of streaks to really counting the numbers, right? Because that's all you're really focused on is how many days have I been retaining my seed? Because then if you were to fall off, something were to happen, which I don't see happening for me other than just being in a relationship with my wife, uh, then you're just like, well, I'm just going to give this up, totally. And I think that it has a lot of benefits that can be seen throughout your training. Now, I'm just giving you my benefits. Okay. So far, I said 15 days, day 15. I have been keeping a journal on how I've been feeling. And I will say this there was a video that I posted, perhaps my most recent update on testosterone. I'm in the kitchen, I'm moving around. You can see my face. It's like I look at it sometimes and it looks like I'm really puffy and I have bags under my eyes. I got furrows in my forehead. And the one thing that I was always, let's say, skeptical about when it comes to people talking about the the can everybody hear me on this mic? Everything's good? Making sure I'm testing this mic out. All right. Making sure that as I said, the most skeptical thing is they're like, oh, I get like my eyes sharpen, my face becomes more angular, my jaw becomes more angular, and I was all skeptical about that. I didn't know what to think. But I will tell you this is true because if you saw my face in that video, again, I just look like I've been eating too much. I've been so puffy. I got up in the morning. Yes, it was kind of early in the morning, but I've been noticing now. Look at. What do you think? What do you think? You let me know in the comments below. Do you think it's been the furrows on my head have gone away? Do you think my jaw is more angular? Um, I definitely don't have as much of a bags underneath my eyes. So that's just something I've noticed on day 14. Yeah, I have to get into the mirror and I look. Some days after spilling my seed, I kind of go over to the camera to the mirror and I just look like I look drained. Maybe placebo, but I don't think so. I mean, I look at myself and I know what I look normally, and I'm just like, man, I look really tired. I look like I'm out of energy. So that changed for me about day 14. Really connected to my energy, and look shows my face. Um, the energy that I've been having is, like I said, one of the things that I'm looking to gain out of semen retention is boundless energy. And I really am beginning to get connected to it right now. I feel it. Um, I get up in the morning now, I have a 5-year old and she's been under the weather during the holidays. And it forces me to get up at like 4 or 5 o'clock and I go to sleep at like, 11. So I'm not really getting the full 8 hours that I'd like to get, but I get like, 5, maybe 6 hours. And so therefore, I feel like I should be dragging, but I feel as if I slept 8 to 9 hours. Like I can get through my day. And that happened like 2 or 3 days in a row. She was sick. I got up and just got right to it. Like one day I got up and I ran 7 miles like at 6 in the morning. And I felt super energized, even though I probably didn't have as much sleep as I'd like to get. One great way to tank your testosterone is to overtrain and to under recover, which is like losing your sleep. That's what I've learned because of course, I'm trying to optimize my testosterone naturally. And again, like this energy that I've been connected to, like I feel it and it feels amazing. So a lot of people ask, like, why is it that you want to do this? Not only as an experiment. Okay. I'm not telling everybody to do this. I'm actually just documenting it because a lot of people have questions about it. So don't do what I'm doing if you don't want to, but if you are, like, hopefully this is going to help you out. So day 15, amazing amounts of energy, and then also great amounts of creativity. I would say that I woke up in the morning, so the mornings that I did wake up early, it wasn't because always I'm getting my sleep interrupted. It was because I had like a great idea. A lot of that is kind of pushing the ideas of running my business, also growing my martial arts affiliation for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai schools. And so therefore, I had some great ideas as to how to expand it, how to market a little bit better, and how to do running some, ads to some different creatives. So those things hit me early on in the morning. I got up and I started journaling it, and I communicated to my marketing staff. And so therefore, hopefully, some good things are getting out of there, right? Interestingly enough, too, um, I'm really watching this Professor Jiang on. If you guys haven't seen him, he talks a lot about it's a secret history of the world and how power works, and it's like a 30-piece lecture that he put together for his students to rewatch. And so I think the world has kind of caught on to it, and it's getting millions of views, and I've been hooked on it. And one of the things that he'll say is that, right now we're in our own religion, in that we only believe in materialism, right? Also, kind of science is connected to that too. It's like, I only believe in what I can see. And if the spirit world is not seen, if God, I cannot see God, then then it doesn't exist. And what he's saying is that there is the nomina, right? Like the world, the universe, and the universe has a consciousness, and we can only decode it with our senses, and we perceive the phenomena, right? And so, but how do we end up doing this? Is it the brain that generates these ideas? Is it like, but no, it could be that we are connecting with the universal consciousness, right? And it's also kind of a far-fetched idea, some would say, about semen retention. It opens up your pineal gland, your third eye, so that you kind of connect with the universe. That's really what I'm looking to do too through this. I'm seeing if I'm getting different ideas, and if that's true, if what Dr. Jang is saying about where creativity comes from, it comes from the universal consciousness, then this may be a testament or a proof to that, and that I'm just getting these ideas, like things that already exist. And so therefore, it's been waking me up early in the morning. I've been journaling them, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to put them into action. So that's really like the last week of an update that I have in terms of how I've been feeling about it. Also, my training, I can give you an update on recovery. I felt also great amounts of recovery as well. Like yesterday, for example, I had a heavy lift. It took me an hour to lift. It was like sumo squats, hanging barbell toe raises, like where you come up and you bring it all the way up. Basically, you like super ab workout, and then I trained for an hour and a half of martial arts training. Um, and I woke up the next morning thinking like, oh man, I'm going to be sore, and I just don't feel sore at all. Like I feel great, And that's also something that I guess people look for when they're taking TRT, is like recovery, right? TRT is not going to make you a superhuman that you're just going to win everything, but what it will allow you to do is train harder, train longer, and recover faster. And that's also what I'm looking for in semen retention, is seeing if I retain my seed, if I cultivate my chi, if I keep my vitality, will I be able to channel that and heal my body faster, so that I can continue to be on the mat, and also to push TRT down the line. As I said before, it's not something that I'm totally like never going to do. I mean, I have to keep an open mind, right? Like that's the idea too. But I talked to a lot of people about it, a lot of people who I respect, and more power to them. It's really helped them a lot. But I don't think I'm ready for this. As a 45-year-old athlete, um, it'll give me an advantage, sure. And I actually had a meeting with my doctor. I'm working with the Rebel Health Alliance, trying to optimize my performance. And to tell you the truth, like I was close to asking him, like, what do you like? Maybe we should take the next step, because I want to win. And he's like, listen, but at the same time, when I finally got him face to face on the camera, I said, you know what? I don't have any desire to do this right now. One, I hate needles. Two, I want to make sure that like, I let this run its course, and I truly get to document how it's feeling. Cause as I said, in one of my short form reels, I think it's something that's going to save the world. So um, TRT, right? When I talk to him, he's like, look, if you want to win this Triple Crown champion, you want to win all these world championships, like, yeah, get on Trent, get on Juice. Let's go. You can do that. But if you're trying to live the longest, healthiest life you possibly can, then that's not something you really want to consider, right? Like, because we see performance optimization from all the things you can do with medicine, and like health and longevity, they're kind of two separate things, and they can be at odds at one another. So it depends on what the goal is. My goal is to stay healthy and do martial arts for my whole life, and to do it. So I don't want to cut that short. I'm not ready for that yet. Okay. So Another thing, the final thing that I'll share with you, of course, being on semen retention, the biggest question that I get is like, how do you do this in a relationship? And one, you have to make sure you communicate really well with your spouse and let them understand like why you're doing it, so that they don't understand, so they don't get the misunderstanding that you are that you're no longer interested, right? As a matter of fact, like in a relationship, you should be having intimacy with your wife. That's very important, or because that strengthens the bond, and that's what I feel is like, semen retention should strengthen those bonds. A lot of people get the misconception that you are not having sex at all, and that is totally not true. And so, as I said in the last video update that I had, I'm looking at reading these two different books. The Multi-Orgasmic Man, which I highly recommend, which also helps you learn how to cultivate your chi. And also picked up one more book from the Men with for Men with Discipline. Right, this is the channel that actually kind of gave me a lot of motivation about it. Is the SR Blueprint. Now, I did read the section in here about relationships, and luckily for me, I carried out all of the recommendations prior to actually undertaking this with my wife. But I'm going to take it to the next level, and I think that this book and these practices in here are going to help me get there. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too much information to share, but I do get a lot of questions about relationships and trying to do this, and so therefore that's where we are. So yeah, we'll do the same thing next week around this time, 10 a.m. for an update. If there's anybody in the chat right now that wants to ask a question, please go ahead and leave me go ahead and enter the live chat, and I'm happy to answer them as we go along. If not, also what I'll do is I'll end up delisting this alive, and I'll repost it probably a couple hours later, just to edit it a little bit, and also to make it more findable in case anybody has more questions about semen retention and how it can help you. Okay. But again, I'm just doing this to document my journey and hopefully share some of the experience that I have and help other people that might be going on it as well. But I'm feeling one amazing energy. Look at my face, really cleared up. Also, one more thing. This is another idea, not an idea, but a thought that I had is I didn't get sick at all the entire year that I've been practicing this. So I began this in March. I retained my seed. All the way up until the end of the year. And I didn't get sick. Now, I did get a terrible staph infection maybe 3 weeks when I first started this. And that's common. I was getting a lot of staph infections, and I really let this one go. And I actually had to get um, antibiotics IV in the hospital for about like 14 days. And that was dumb because I already knew something was going on, but I didn't really treat it. Plus, I would just finish competing at the Pan American Games, where I won first in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, something I never dreamed I could do because I never made the podium before. But I credit a lot of that success to retaining your seed. So my family just got over being sick. A lot of people around me getting sick, probably for the last couple months. I have not gotten sick at all. I think there's got to be something to that. It's got to be something about the energy that you're keeping inside, or maybe perhaps like your body just being not drained and not having to fight anything off. But I haven't gotten sick yet. I'll let you know if that does happen. I'm surprised I didn't get the flu because pretty much everybody around me did get the flu, and so that could be another reason why you might want to retain is um, immunity to some diseases. Who knows? That could be. I'll let you know where that goes. So next thing that I have for myself for the Triple Crown Champion, I have a judo tournament scheduled for the end of the month. It's a veterans judo tournament. I want to stay active, and the next big tournament will be the Pan American Games again in March. Of course, this year also I'm going for I got my Kudo brown belt, so I will be fighting in Kudo for the first time, hopefully around in May. So this is all kind of like my ideas around competition. So hopefully to get me to my goal. And yeah, I'll be keeping everybody up to date with it. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments too. I'm happy to answer them as best I can. I'm really busy and running around, but this is the best format that I could think of for this year, and trying to keep everybody updated with what's going on, and also to help people as much as I can. I want to say this one more time. My videos on Instagram and YouTube have gone viral from the standpoint of, it's almost like I'm a kook, like I'm a guy who's crazy, right? But the ideas that I am trying to exercise and I'm trying to implement right now are ideas that were very common thousands of years ago, and also even 50 years ago with boxing, like you didn't want your boxers to go in there and spill their seeds the night before. Sometimes that involves also going out late at night and staying out late at night and doing things you're not supposed to do, and therefore that's not going to make you very strong, right? So I'm not. What I'm saying is, don't take this as a life as a way of depriving yourself and saying, "Oh, never ever have sexual relations again and never enjoy yourself again." But I would say in a world where we're just filled with instant gratification, filled with temptation and things that drive us to spill our seed needlessly to some pixels on the screen, that a little bit of discipline was probably going to be very helpful to us. Okay, and we need this as a species. We need to have discipline, and I'm not saying that this is the only way to have discipline, but it is a way to discipline yourself. And so, therefore, as crazy as it does sound, how about the craziness of, can you just not, I'm trying to make sure I don't get banned on YouTube, right? Can you not wrestle your Jimmy for 7 days? Is that something that is just a terrible idea, something you cannot even fathom? And why is that? I think that the world this day is telling us that this is a normal thing. Like, you need to do this. One of the most common things that I see um, in the one of the most common things that I see is like, oh, you're going to get cancer, oh, you're going to get cancer. And so like, because they quote the same study that they talk about all the time, where it's like, oh, these people told us that we had to do this because we had to, to prevent cancer. I debunked that a couple of times already. Again, I'm not a scientist, but I think science is also religion in and of itself. I do have a couple questions here, so I do want to address them. Hello, is semen retention the same as celibacy? That's a great question. And I think that a lot of people, I think that's what is a misconception too. Now, there's to, two main ways to kind of practice this. One is total celibacy, brahmacharya, right? I, of course, am not down that. I cannot be going down that route, okay? Because I have a wife and I have to make sure she's very happy in the relationship and that she supports me. So that's one of the reasons, okay? So that is that is one route. And maybe if you're older, maybe if that's something. I've also talked to a lot of people that they said, like, this is their route. I have a student that is very inspirational, because he's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. He's like 20 something years old. I'm like, great, and that's going to help you reach your goals, man. Definitely go for it. The other route is a Taoist beliefs, Taoist techniques. Also, thousands of years ago, these things are all written in text thousands of years ago. And what they would say is that it's almost like to celebrate your sexual energy. Okay, hopefully I don't get banned here on YouTube, but hopefully I'm not giving you too much information, but somebody is asking about it. And so the idea is that that's one of the most powerful energies that we have. And so what we want to do is we want to cultivate that. And that's partly why I'm studying and reading this book, because the understanding is that you're trying to cultivate it and bring that energy down below and bring it up to your brain. Okay, the crown, like what do they say, the crown chakra, and that's kind of the idea behind that, is to be able to cultivate this energy. And now part of that is with someone, and sometimes it tells you like how to do it by yourself. But I'm still learning. I would say I'm a white belt in this, and but it does intrigue me, because I think that there's a way to cultivate energy and bring it up and try to channel it through other areas in your life, it be physical, it be martial arts, it be like business goals. Then I'm willing to do that, because I really want to get there. Just to say that too, it's important to celebrate your 2025 goals. For me, like ever since I undertook this, I really feel like I've been able to channel a lot of that energy into my business, into my family, which business helps my family. And also our team, right? I could not do this by myself. It's not like I'm doing everything by myself, but our team at our martial arts school, we're able to do over 10% growth in the business in 1 year, and in a year that's kind of been very full of turmoil and chaos. And we've had our best month last month. So it's like has a lot to do with being disciplined and also being focused on your goals. And I got to hear thank you. Hey, thank you very much, guys. I thought this was a little bit crazy to do. A lot of people tell me that too, but I just feel like I'm trying to help everybody out as much as I can. And of course, you think I'm crazy? Well, maybe I'm crazy. You don't got to do what I'm doing, right? So yeah, so that's pretty much the updates for competition, for how I'm feeling. We'll do this the same time next week, Wednesday at 10 o'clock. As more and more people join, we had a couple people on the live already, and I'm always happy to stay on and answer questions, but anything people have. But I would highly recommend grabbing these two books if this is something that you are trying to do for yourself. And also, you know, you have to be careful. You're not white knuckling it, right? You're like, oh, I got to do this thing. Like, oh man, look. If you put too much pressure on yourself, it's not. You're not going to enjoy the journey, right? So, the fact that somebody's thinking about doing this to begin with, you're already setting yourself outside of the group. Okay, and that's always something looking to do. And that's also what has attracted me to this practice of seam retention. Is like I want to do what other people are not doing. Right, I want to do things that will um, because if I just follow the herd, then I can only expect to get whatever results or benefits that other people are getting. But if I trailblaze and do things on my own and find my own way of doing it, no matter how crazy it is, and a lot of people say that people are crazy until like something that they're doing is working, then maybe I'll just stumble onto something that is new and and revolutionary and hopefully helpful to others. Okay, but again, what I'm doing, nothing. It's not actually that new. It's just bringing old knowledge back into modern practice, and I think that from a martial arts standpoint, the great coach John Danaher would say that you try to find something that is of low value to people that they don't see the value of, and you begin to try to exploit that to your benefit as much as you can. Exploit is a terrible word, but how do you use that to your advantage? And I think that in a world where everybody is more willing to focus on their pleasure than to focus on the things that will make them successful, is something that we have to practice and bring about, and hopefully become regular practice again one day. The last thing I'll say too, I was thinking about. Um, I was married at one point in my life, and I got divorced. And during this time when I was divorced, I of course wanted to live the Western lifestyle, right? In the sense that like I was married for 10 years, but I was with the same woman for 17 years. It was probably right out of high school. So it's the only person that I really knew. Uh, and I wanted to broaden my horizons in that way as a man, right? And so what do? You get these dating apps, you get Tinder, you get all these kinds of things, and then you're just out there. I felt like during that time, and I can remember what I felt. I was completely drained. I was like trying to train and trying to run a business that was falling apart at the time because I just wasn't really focused, and I was just trying to find companionship with people, and not to say anything bad about those people or that time. It was just that was a time in my life that I was really really just wasting a lot of energy, and I could feel it. Like I was out there just drained, and not because maybe because also you were just spilling your seed every day, but also because I was just out late at night. It's the things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. And lose my train of thought around what I was trying to say about that. But yeah, right. It wasn't what made me happy, it was not only wasting my energy and spending a lot of time, um, but I was chasing the wrong thing, and because I had to have that experience to know, right? Had to have that experience to understand that that's not what life's about. People, and also like kind of the people that you hurt as well. Like I'm sure that that wasn't a great time for the people that I was involved with either, because I was in it for a different reason than they were most likely. Um, but because of that idea that what you have to chase and what it is to be a man, like you have to have as many relationships and sexual relationships as possible. Um, you lose sight of what's important, um, but also you're willing to take a lot more in the sense that you're not you're seeing sex as like a current, almost a currency. Like, what can this person give me physically? How can they satisfy me and give me pleasure, as opposed to, how um, is this person the right partner for me, right? And because you're having a relationship in the sense that you're trying to make each other feel better, make each other better, and so therefore, if we had the wrong reasons in our mind to be with somebody, like how can they give me pleasure? And am I, is she the uh, that being the one? I think that we kind of lose track, and we also set ourselves up for a lot of chaos and disaster in our lives, right? As opposed to like, how does this person make me feel? Does this person make me better? Are we making each other better? Are we good influences on each other's lives? Do we build each other up? Like, do we have the same visions of things? And so therefore, if sex is important as a man, it's important, right? But if you make it that the only thing that's important, then perhaps we kind of lose track and lose sight of what's really important in a relationship. Anyway, that's just kind of like some reflection I had when I was out there just running around, being crazy. But happily married now, and I'm happy to be on this journey. I'm happy that I'm getting the support that I'm getting from my wife, from my family, in chasing these goals and doing these, you know, seemingly crazy things. But hopefully, you guys are getting some benefit of me sharing it with you. And oh wow, okay, somebody said, "Good morning. I'm 7 months in currently." Wow. Hey man, congratulations, brother. Like that's great. That's great. You know, it really, if even if you just take on this practice, like you're standing out from the crowd, but 7 months, man, that's a long time. I think the longest I've ever went is 183 days. That's total 6 months, and I'm looking to go for this entire year. So thank you for your sharing that, and also thank you for your motivation. And hopefully that motivates other people here too to really stick to the commitments. Now, um, one thing again that I really found very helpful, and how what sparked this interest too. A lot of things have sparked this interest, but being on Reddit, you got to be careful with Reddit because Reddit's got a lot of NSFW. Is that what that's? Not safe for work, you know, and that's it's just kind of, you got to be very careful, right? So I make sure I got a filter on. But first thing I did was really focus on NoFap. Like, 8 years ago, I gave up pornography. I gave up that type of endeavor, and I've always noted, and I always go to the NoFap Reddit to get more experiences and see what people are doing. And I would always stumble upon the SR one, semen retention. I was what is this? And I didn't know that they were separate things. I just thought they were like basically just different names for the same thing. And then really I realized, I was like, wow, there are people who are practicing this too. And it always gave me curiosity, but I never really had the what would you say, the gumption, the motivation to give it a try. And I'm so glad that I did. And another person here, wow, 4 years in full monk mode, 48 years old, green belt in judo. Let's go, oos, brother. I'm very interested to know like how you're able to do that, and also how you feel uh, as a 48-year-old man. I'm 45, and that's also one of the reasons why I'm doing this, to try to keep my vitality. And I think that martial arts and semen retention, like they go, I think there's a lot of crossover there. I always think about the Shaolin monks, and how they practice and how they live their lives. Not sure if they were totally celibate. I have to do a little bit more research on that, but definitely people would talk about their superpower. Um, one of the things that I always talk about too about martial artists, it's like, you ever see the movie um, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? One of my top three martial arts movies of all time. Great movie. They're flying through the air, they're jumping on bamboo trees and stuff like that, and they're just like amazing kung fu warriors. What somebody had postulated was that the way that they're moving, their ability to fly through the air, that's like the lay person, like the person who doesn't practice martial arts. These are what these people look like to them. These are like, they're doing incredible things with their body. And these guys are like warrior monks too, right? And they're supposed to be like celibate and doing other things. So that's also the other thing. Like, you're like, oh man, maybe there's something to that too. But I think that martial arts and this type of practice go hand in hand. Cultivating that internal energy go hand in hand, and perhaps we're a little bit too stuck on what we perceive the material world, and you know, as opposed to really connecting with energy, with the greater universe, with the spirit, and that type of thing. And so, hopefully, this will allow us to better do that. So, um, hey, I want to thank everybody for being on this. I'm totally committed to it. Again, I'll probably delist this and then repost it with a little bit of edits, perhaps later on today. But it seems like this is something that a lot of other people are involved in. Hey, look, and if you fall off the wagon, something happens to you, man, stay in touch. Let's stay connected. Let's keep each other strong together. We're going to get a lot of benefits from this together. And let's also be aware, though, that people don't like the message as much, and I'm okay with that. It took me a little bit of time to be that personality on the internet where people hate for some reason, but also maybe no, they don't want to succeed because it means something for that person. I'm sorry being so cryptic, but um, but the idea is not to put people off. You know, uh, People are going to live their lives the way they want to, and maybe this is something you want to do now and not later. Well, the idea is to pull more people into it, and I definitely think that if if more of us men were able to exert discipline, really to control our minds, control our actions. That's all we really have control over, right? Is our thoughts and our actions. Sometimes not even so much our thoughts, but at least in our actions. This world will be a better place, and it starts here because what they man. I talked to you. Now I think we're far enough into this broadcast that we can talk about they, like who they are. And let's not say who they are, but what they want is for us to be weak. They want us to be stuck on pleasure. They want us to be uh, not focused on things that are going on right now in the world around us. So we have to make sure that we stay strong, we stay focused, and that we stay together. Okay, so let's try and also try to pull more people into our idea and what we're trying to do, because I think again, as I said, it's going to help the world. Okay. But I do want to thank everybody again for being on here. I'll be the same time next week at 10 o'clock. I'll repost this up here, and let's continue to stay strong and support each other, brothers. Okay. Oos, and I'll see you in the next one.